Often marketers get themselves really twisted into a pretzel about this stuff. They're like, oh my gosh, I've got all these different personas and all these different segments, and I'm going to have this matrix of positioning for these different personas and these different segments, and this is going to be a nightmare. It turned out that that actually isn't the way it worked when you actually talk to customers. So 2 things I discovered. One is, if we're in B2B, and we are selling to big company, I think the numbers are like there's 5 to 11 stakeholders in a B2B deal. And so let's say I'm selling to the head of database technology, but there's all these other people that care. Legal cares, and the line of business cares, and purchasing cares. But typically the way a B2B deal gets done is somebody is the champion. So somebody got tapped and they said, hey, get us a new ERP system. Would you come back here and recommend what we're going to do? And it is that person's job to make the short list, figure out who they're going to go further with, figure out which vendors are on the short list. And then it's their job to sort of get everybody else, all the other stakeholders, make sure IT feels okay about it, make sure the end users feel okay about it, make sure my boss feels good about it, and maybe my boss's boss who's actually writing the check. That champion is the only person that can make that deal happen. Everybody else are deal killers. They're not making the deal happen, but they can kill it. Like if IT shows up and says, oh, sorry, gotta be SOC 2, otherwise we're not gonna do the deal, your deal's dead. So when we're talking about positioning is not the only tool we have in our kit bag when we're trying to sell a big deal to B2B. Positioning is gonna help me get on the radar of the champion. Positioning is gonna help me land on the short list. Once I'm on the short list and I have a deal cooking, well, then I've got sales teams and marketing people and everybody else. We're going to help the champion handle the objections, potentially, of all these other folks. But that's not positioning. That's something else. It's objection handling. So when I think about my positioning, do I have to understand the value for the IT department? No, there is no value for the IT department if they're not the champion. All the IT department has is a checklist of reason to kill your deal. So all they have is objections. So we're not out there writing value propositions and positioning for the IT department if all they're saying is, look, man, the thing's too hard to manage. The thing doesn't comply. Oh, it doesn't integrate with our accounting software. They're just sitting over there with their checklist of things. So I've got to arm the champion to handle those objections, but that's not value. It's different.